Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, on this episode of Bullet Points, I'm going to be honest, I got to drop some facts and some truth hammers on these opinion pieces because what I'm about to show you from the Washington Post is complete gun control dribble. It is crap. It is being perpetuated as fact, and I'm about to show you exactly how to counter this type of arrogance, condescension, vitriol, and flat out gaslighting. This is really important. Send this one out to whomever you think would benefit from this because we are about to tear this asunder. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. I want to hear from you guys on this one because there's a lot to talk about here. I'm going to do a quick read from our sponsor, LAS Concealment, and then I'm going to show you everything because this is incredibly important as we go forward for our rights. Now, in today's increasingly dangerous environment, arming yourself responsibly and effectively is paramount in defending yourself and those that you love. Selecting a holster is an important piece of embracing your Second Amendment rights, and LAS Concealment is here just for that purpose. With leading designs inside and outside the waistband options, combat tested by special forces, hundreds of prints, hundreds of colors, there is a combination for you from LAS Concealment. And thank you so much to LAS for making these videos this week possible. But let's dive into this because this is everything that we always talk about. All right. Again, this is a very condescending piece. If you have high blood pressure, take a Xanax before you read this one because this guy is very aggressive. Opinion. Gun sales have exploded. Funny, that didn't make us all safer. I know. All right, let's keep going. This is as of today. So as we go into this, I want to set a parameter. I want to show you what the reported violent crime rate has been since the early 90s, 1990 to 2020. I'm showing you on screen. You're talking about a more than 50% reduction. Well, actually right about just about 50% reduction. You've gone from 758 all the way down to 383, 385 in that range. So a dramatic reduction. On a 30-year trend, you're talking big time downward, okay? Then I'm going to show you another piece, which is also important. Here is the firearms manufactured from 1986 to 2019. You see it on an upward trend. Now, if crime is going down and gun is going up over the last 30 years, you'd think that there'd be an easy correlation to draw. False, negative. We have to add condescension and arrogance and attack our Second Amendment rights because it's clearly their fault. Check this out. In recent years, and especially since the pandemic began, we've seen an explosion of our already extraordinary levels of gun manufacturing and sales. If gun advocates, a group that pretty much includes the entire GOP, are correct on their oft-stated assertion that more guns mean more safety, shouldn't we be enjoying a paradise of security with crime plunging to never before seen lows? Again, look at the chart I showed you from 1990 all the way to 2020, a dramatic downward trend. Big sloping line. That doesn't stop the arrogance and condescension. Let's keep going. That isn't happening, of course. How can we explain this mystery? The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives just released a report documenting the mind-boggling scale of gun manufacturers in the United States. It shows that from 2010 to 2020, the number of guns produced every year doubled. Okay, I'm going to pull the chart up again. If from 2010 to 2020 it doubled, why do we see a decrease in the actual rate of violent crime in the United States, with an uptick in the middle, another decline, and another uptick? It's almost like the correlating factors to crime and violent crime in the United States have nothing to do with legal manufacturing and legal purchasing of firearms. But let's not let facts interfere with your vitriolic rhetoric. Let's keep going. But oh no, gun advocates will say, all those new gun purchases in 2020 and 2021 were a response to rising crime, not the cause. That's because they were a response to rising crime. That's why you saw females and minorities buy them in droves, bigger percentages than have ever been. Another reason why the entire gun control movement is in trouble, because you've got more and more people making it a heterogeneous population versus a homogenized population, which is easy to demonize. This is really important because they don't understand what to do, so they just got to go back to their old tired rhetoric, which has no basis in fact. But then why hasn't homicide plunged as those tens of millions of new guns got into people's hands? Because it takes time. Again, you can't just say, 10 million guns were purchased in June, so then in July, crime went away. That's not really possible, it's not really feasible, and that's kind of a stupid point. Anyway, let's keep going. And this is where it gets really fascinating. I don't understand what this author's deal is. Check this out. To be clear, I'm not arguing that the increase in homicides was only the result of spiking gun sales. Kinda sounds like you are. We don't yet know, and it's a complicated problem to unpack. Complicated problem. Yeah, it's called defunding. Anyway, we do know that people who own guns are much more likely to kill themselves. We know that states that pass stand your ground laws are more likely to see homicide. Again, two likelies presented as fact and absolute. This stuff gets under my nerves. What we also know is that the bonkers argument that gun advocates make that we'll be safer if more of us are armed is proved wrong again and again. Again, I'd like to show you the graph where the increase of firearm ownership took down the violent crime. Just saying. All right. This part, this part where they're decrying all the wins we've had. From a policy standpoint, they've gotten just about everything they wanted in recent years. They persuaded the Supreme Court to declare in 2008 for the first time that people have an individual right to own guns. Except they've defeated modest efforts to require universal background checks. They've gotten state after state to lift restrictions on gun ownership, in many cases, allowing almost anyone to carry a gun almost anywhere. No license. Funny, you don't require a license for freedom of speech. No training. Funny, when you have educational tests for voting, you don't like that one. Or background check required. The background check already happened when the gun was purchased. All three of those points are inane. Just saying. I got one more point for you, and this really speaks to their mindset. I know, I'm hitting all the goodies here. No. Their real belief is that the right is an unlimited gun ownership is so profoundly fundamental to what it means to be a free human, being that even if gun proliferation did produce more homicides and suicides, that's the price we must pay. Let's unpack what they just said. They just said, if freedom is the cost for safety, we would gladly pay it. And that is a perfect understanding to the statement and the mindset of this individual and other individuals who are on the gun control side. Rights don't matter as long as I'm safe. Ben Franklin had a very important thing to say about just that. You can look it up, and I will see you tonight at the 9 p.m. segment. I'm Braden. See you later.